very often the women in the family tend to take over and do all of the house chores. What we forget is that a lot of energy is exchanged here. And a lot of times, looking after the house is as important as looking after the family and other work, and all of this takes emotional energy. If we can actually allow for the males in the family to start helping out, if we can allow for the other members, whether they are young, old, boys, girls, men, women, it doesn't matter, right? If all members of the family actually divide the chores, choose what you like, see what works for you, and actually pitch in. This is a great exercise to see that your family is functional, that everyone participates in different roles in the family, and it's a beautiful space to learn to be independent and actually be self sufficient. So, if you can take roles, maybe some of you would like to cook, maybe some of you would actually like to wash the dishes, some of you may want to put the clothes out or even fold the clothes. Try what works for you. But in addition to that, what I'll also say is let yourself use the conveniences that are out there, right? There may be certain days when you really don't want to cook. It's okay to not cook. There are enough apps where you can order reasonable home cooked food straight to your doorstep. Engage in that. Give yourself that break and do it without the guilt because you deserve to rest. As women, we take on a lot of responsibility, both physical, mental, and also let's add a third one of emotional. Give yourself that rest to actually unwind and take that time without guilt. Engage in hobbies that you enjoy. And if you don't do your homework for 1 or 2 days, it's not like someone else won't do it, or it's not like you can't do it later. You don't dust the house today, that's okay. Do it tomorrow, right? But give yourself that space to actually rest, unwind, and look after yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And if you want your cup to be full, you need to actually be putting the work out there. So, and when I say put the work out there, I mean self care. So please allow yourselves to take breaks. Please allow yourself to connect with yourself and let yourself do this at your pace. There is absolutely no rush. Involve your family, let them help you out. First thing I'd say is if someone in your family seems depressed, it's extremely important to watch out for behavioral changes. Very often, a person who's outgoing, who seems happy, may suddenly seem irritable or tired or even may not seem as productive, right? It's very important to see if behavior is changing. Sometimes people may just change their behavior or do the same behavior, but their facial expressions tell you everything. It's also important to observe attention to facial cues, right? People show everything on their faces. They may not tell you, they may not show it in their body language. A mother may be brilliantly going about her work, but you may notice stress in her eyes. You may notice her body stooping. Pay attention to body language. It's extremely important, especially right now. The third thing is pay attention when people talk. Learn to listen and learn to be there for people when they talk to you. When someone says they're tired, more than just saying, hey, get to the program, feel better about it, it's okay, we're all going through it. Allow them to speak because right now people are going through a lot and we don't really know what they are going through. But if you give them that space to feel supported, they're more likely to tell you. Also, give them space to take breaks. You may have high expectations of someone who's been very, very functional, not just through the lockdown, but even earlier. It's okay if they're tired. Let them take the break. Let them rejuvenate. Let them rest. Because right now, we need to realize that there's a lot of anxiety around us. And when people around us are anxious, we start taking the anxiety on ourselves. Give them breaks to slow down. Show them that you care for them. Maybe sometimes help out and do something nice for them. Because when you pitch in and you do what needs to be done, it's a whole lot easier for them to also connect and feel like you are there for them. That little bit of rest goes a long way in feeling rejuvenated. And you cannot pour from an empty cup. Let them rest, let them rejuvenate, and don't force the process, right? If someone needs to talk, listen. Pay attention with your eyes, pay attention with your ears, because cues can be both verbal and non-verbal. Sometimes they'll tell you they're tired, sometimes they won't. But pay attention. What's important right now is to actually pay attention to all the people around us. How sensitive can you be to actually allow people to experience what they're going through? Really want to pay attention to a person who's very vibrant may suddenly seem a little difficult, may seem a little withdrawn. It's okay. People who are normally fun and sweet may be a bit snappy, a bit irritable, maybe even rude. Someone who is responsive may become unresponsive. Another thing to watch out for is people who are doing overwork, right? A lot of time people engage in overwork because at least if they're overworking, they will somewhere be able to rest. Please pay attention to all of this, right? Another important thing is very often people may seem forgetful or spaced out. If they seem like they're unable to pay attention to their surroundings, this is something that can have massive consequences to their mental and emotional health. They are overwhelmed, but they're doing what needs to be done. It helps when you also give them reassurances that they can take breaks. It also helps when you tell them that they are allowed to take breaks and you will help out because somewhere they're not stressing about it. Somewhere you're easing off their guilt and making them feel validated. And for right now, this is extremely important. And be certain that when you start doing it for them, they will do it for you because they are able to see that you're able to understand each other. This is extremely relevant, especially in this time that we're in.